Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome. We are all here, and it is Sunday, which means it's time for another game of Rivals of Waterdeep.
Woo!
Woo, woo,
Yeah.
woo. We're all excited as we can be on a Sunday morning.
Or
I'm just nervous
afternoon
for
at
what's
this point.
Oh yeah, it is
Right.
for what's in
afternoon.
store.
Mhm.
I don't know. Is noon? I know it has noon in the name,
Hmm.
but to me, 12 o'clock is still it's late morning. I don't know.
It
Uh,
it it feels morningy. I think we're
yeah.
just conditioned to think that it's afternoon, but it still feels morningy to me.
On the
I
weekend,
know.
if it's brunch
We've been
hours,
conditioned.
it's morning.
Mm.
Oh well, that depends on where you live. Because
I mean, that's very true.
when I used to live in New York, brunch went till like 4 p.m., 3 p.m. Like you go from brunch spot to brunch spot.
Mm,
Yeah, unlimited mimosa life.
very fun.
Used
The
to
Trying to get
love
as
mimosas
it.
much
all day.
trying to get as much lox as I can in a day, man.
Nice.
Uh,
So let's go around the table and say who is here. Starting with Brandon.
Hi, everybody. My name is Brandon Stennis. I'll be playing Ren Leadon today. Pronouns for both me and Ren are he, him.
I am LaTia Bryant. I will be playing your tactless monk bird Dahani, charisma of 7. She has no idea what's going on. Both my pronouns and Dahani's pronouns are she, her.
Hey y'all, I'm Masood. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Marudboy, MHRUDBOI, and I'll be playing Gosrick Namred, our rock gnome druid who's fiscally responsible. And you can both of our pronouns are he, him.
You've muted yourself.
I have no idea how.
I have muted myself to come back with dramatic effect.
There you go.
My name is Shareef Jackson. Pronouns he, him. I'm your DM. We are missing one of our rivals, Tanya DePass, who is Celise Astorio, our human paladin, is out with another game. So she is cheating on the rivals. She's out with another game on the Bethesda channel. So she's been doing a bunch of cool work over with Bethesda. So make sure to check them out over at their Twitch channel. I believe they've been doing things all weekend. So shout
It
out to
is
Tanya.
QuakeCon, I believe.
Mhm.
QuakeCon, yes. So they are quaking, and Quake was it was a thing. I don't know if anyone here was big Quake players, but I
I'm
definitely
familiar
was.
with it.
I'm familiar with it because of how revolutionary it was for online gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I definitely it was one of the first games when I got to college.
Yeah.
In 1998. Quake 1 was kind of not old by then, but it had definitely been out. But no one had great computers, so the one game we could all run was Quake 1 and play over LAN. So that's what we played a lot of freshman year. Quake 1. Great stuff. So awesome. All right. So let's talk about some of the folks that we are going to shout out that help us out every week with our stuff. So let's start with D&D Beyond. So all of our character sheets and access to our digital source books are all done through dndbeyond.com. If you are in the Twitch chat, meaning if you are listening to the audio podcast or the video on demand stream, you're missing out because we do giveaways from a D&D Beyond Adventurers bundles. So you will get some access to some wonderful content. So if you are in the chat, be on the lookout for a specific code that like a mod is going to share. Enter that code and you'll be entered into the raffle. So, but even if you are not, make sure to go to dndbeyond.com to check them out.
Yeah.
Our dice trays and vaults are provided by Wormwood, WYRM Wood. As LaTia is showing hers off. If you use the code RIVALS at Wormwood Gaming, you will get free domestic shipping. So if you want some wonderful wood provided by them, make sure to check them out at wormwoodgaming.com. Our dice are provided by Level Up Dice, as LaTia is also showing off. In a creepy way, though. In a very creepy way, she's showing that off.
Well, they're the raised obsidian, so they are menacing looking.
Yes. And we are part of the Diceomancy program there. So if you go to bit.ly/LUD Rivals of Waterdeep and you buy things through that link, we will get points and we will level up and we will be able to raffle things back to the community. So make sure to do all of your purchases at Level Up Dice through that bit.ly link. It will help us out for sure. Our notebooks are provided by the Rook and the Raven. Another creepy showing of a product by LaTia. So if you would like your own cool leather-bound book to write your stuff in, go to therookandtheraven.com and use the code RIVALS for 15% off. Also, if you want minis, if you like minis, Eldridge Foundry, check them out at eldridge-foundry.com and use the code RIVALSDND for 10% off. And Stormcrow, if you want coffee that has stats on it, and you want masks, and you want shirts, and you want dye, all kind of cool stuff that they have, go to shop.stormcrow.com and use the code RIVALS for 15% off of their store.
Their masks fit great. They've got adjustable lengths on them, so you can do a lot with them.
Yeah, which I didn't find out until like a couple of days after wearing it that you could adjust the back. So me having a very pronounced nose, I always have to adjust my stuff fully. It's the same thing with hats too. I always have to have the biggest size hat and the biggest size mask. It's just the life, y'all. Just the life.
You got to look for I relate to this when you're looking for helmets. You got to find the extra large helmet.
Just, if I'm helmet shopping, sure.
Well, I used to work as a bike tour guide. So like every time we'd go out on tour, I'd have to like dig through the basket to find the one extra large helmet.
Oh, I actually didn't think about that. I didn't think about that.
Wow.
Yeah. No, it's really hard for me to like buy any hat that's not like an adjustable baseball cap.
Sure.
Because I basically have to get it, like I can't get it at a store. I have to order it online.
Yeah.
If I want like an actual fancy hat or something like that, just that big head life. All right. So let's get into our recap of last episode. So previously on Rivals of Waterdeep. Whoosh. Whoosh. All right, y'all. What happened in episode 7? Plenty of interesting things.
I can see so much.
I feel like nobody died, right? Like
nobody died.
No, nobody died. We were dealing.
We ended up in a new place.
We did. We were dealing with the aftermath of Celeste having completed her goal of vengeance.
Yes.
And then I think Davil was like, but what about this house though?
Yep.
And I think before we could even get to that, we were attacked by more Ettins. And then our mysterious cloaked friend guy person gave everybody clocks. And now we're in Icewind Dale.
Yeah, so you weren't attacked by the Ettins. The Ettins showed up.
Right. Okay.
They did not do anything aggressive, but there were a lot of them. There were about 4 of them. One which was arguing with itself. Like a one head was arguing with the other head. I forgot who it was. I think it was Gazrick cast a spell to make. I think he charmed 3 of them.
Yeah, I charmed 3. It was animal friendship.
Yeah, so like the one that wasn't charmed was trying to like push them, and he was wondering what was going on. Yes, then our cloak friend transported us all to an icy trail, which was in Icewind Dale. Immediately when you came, you were greeted by a wonderful avalanche.
Yeah.
Which everyone avoided.
Yeah, thankfully.
Which is
good job, us.
Even Duo got out without anything either.
Yeah, I think like Dahani picked Duo up and kind of transported him forward, and then when it was his turn, he was able to like get out of there.
There's some really good spell work from Gazrick
Yes.
to get the avalanche to kind of go away from us. So that was some really good spell work on your part.
Thank you. It's cool.
Yeah, he basically did like a Green Lantern-esque, like he created like a slide, basically.
I imagined what's it? Do you guys remember the meteor episode from Avatar: The Last Airbender? And Toph just like moves rocks to divert the flow of it was some earthbending. Yeah.
Okay. You're an official earthbender. Got it.
The dream.
Got it. That's awesome. Yeah, so you ended up there. You saw this huge battalion of folks. You were greeted by the sheriff. All right. And he led you into essentially a large mess hall, which you could sense is where all visiting merchants and stuff kind of went, and like got some food and like like got their bearings. Gazarick, he like realized that like this is Bryn Shander, which is sort of like the main outpost that like sort of separates Icewind Dale from like the rest of the Sword Coast. And the sheriff was Sheriff Southwell. Dahani went to spread her wings in front of fire, which was great. And everybody else was just getting acclimated. And we ended with you kind of getting a sense that this like elderly dwarf was eyeing you. And we ended with the dwarf basically saying that like there were some murders that were going on that he wanted your help with because you looked like you were from out of town and that you would be the type to take on such tasks. So that's where we ended. All right. So what the elf shared with you was that there was an individual that they are familiar with called Shapik, that they believe is responsible for like some of these disappearances. They also shared that the people in power don't seem too interested. So like, and that this is like a person. So like the dwarf is someone that has been around and that has had a life of doing these kind of things like themselves, but because now they are a little older, they just kind of pay people to like do their work. They also showed you
dwarf's name.
You did not. You did not. But that can be one thing you can ask.
Yeah.
And I actually no. I think the elf did share her name, Hiln Trollbane.
Hiln Trollbane.
Yep.
Definitely a dwarf. Because you keep saying elf.
I keep saying elf. Oh my god.
You do.
Yeah, I don't know why I keep messing that up, but maybe the canon is that it's like sort of like always mistaken for one or the other, like just in the middle, So
right. It's like, so it's like they're a half elf, half dwarf, and it's like if you look at them in one light, they definitely look more elf. If you look at them in another light, they definitely look more dwarven.
Yeah, that's what I did that on purpose. I'm glad you picked up my intentional character building.
Excellent.
Glad you picked that up. Yeah, so that's where we were, and where we're gonna start is the next day. So everyone's had a chance to rest. Because like this like mess hall area has like places for merchants to rest. So like everyone has their health is full. What's up?
Oh no, I just remembered that we are definitely merchants.
That's what y'all said.
That is the story we are going with.
Yes. So all your health is full. All your spell slots are full, all that good stuff. You've had a long rest.
Cool. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Because Gazrick needed it. Gazrick was like out of slots.
Just like exhaustion setting in.
Yeah, so I'll say that y'all all are like in one large room together because like this place doesn't have like exorbitant, like an individual room for each person. You're just in one big room. Um what's the first thing that y'all would do or try to see what's available in the morning?
Uh,
I would say
Tahani's. Go ahead. I've talked a lot.
no. I was just talking about maybe like some breakfast. We're still on that working out with Ren, and he's getting his swerve on. So trying to get them eggs and bread. Like eat
Okay.
up.
You got to hit your macros.
Yeah, you gotta do
Spectacular.
that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
All
gotta
right.
jog.
Are you going to inquire about breakfast? Like, kind of look around outside, because like there's like nothing in the room, but
Mm.
you do see what looks like a bell hanging from the kind of like near the door.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. I wanna go. Well, can I ring the bell? Just like doo-doo-doo?
I mean, the
Just in
bell
case.
says ring for service.
Oh, okay. Well, then we're ding 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 ding.
Okay. All right. As you ring it, you hear a very heavy knock on the door. That's like, how may I be of assistance?
Hello, good sir. I was wondering if your establishment has any sort of items I can make for breakfast, or if you guys serve breakfast here.
Of course. What would you like?
Oh, okay, very forceful. Let's go with some scrambled eggs, and if you have some bread, that'd be great. Possibly water would be great with any mead that you may have as well.
Mead for breakfast?
Of course, don't you have mead for breakfast?
Well, it's not normally something we sell, but we do like to make sure our merchants are happy. So I'll see what I can do.
Okay, that
And
works.
and then you hear like the footsteps. This person kind of going off. All right. He returns very quickly, like quicker than you would think. And he returns. He opens the door, and what you see a very large glass of water. You don't see any eggs though.
Mm.
But you do see a huge plate of what looks like fish, but like these are like whole fish. So the eyes are there and everything, and like it's just like a plate of them, and he puts them down and like says, "I hope this treats you well. Thank you."
Uh, uh, sir,
Yes.
I can't have fish. I'm lactose intolerant, so um, could we please receive the eggs instead? I can't have.
Rin,
Hmm?
lactose intolerant means you can't have milk.
Oh, okay. Well, I cannot have these fish because I'm allergic to shellfish. So, could we switch this and have the eggs? Because I really like some eggs this
I
morning.
think you should be fine. These are not shellfish.
Right,
These are
they're just
knucklehead
regular
trout.
fish.
Yeah, these are knucklehead trout. This is what we're known for.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Dahani is just kind of like slowly taking the tray away because if he won't eat the fish, she will.
Red still because Red really wants these eggs, so he's like, sir, I cannot have these fish. I will get chicken pox. So I will need the eggs I requested, please.
I don't believe we have any eggs.
Well, do you have any substitute? Egg substitute?
I can make some fish so that it looks like the eggs that you would be familiar with in the South.
Okay, that sounds great.
Okay,
I'll take that.
All right. So he goes away. Are you having any of the fish, Gazert?
Yeah, Gazrick steps out of the shower and like the bathroom after getting ready in the morning, and he says, "Oh yes, I have not had typical. Do I recognize these fish? Do I know what
Yeah,
type they are? Yeah.
Yes, you would.
Okay.
Yes, they are knucklehead trout.
Oh, the knucklehead trout. No. All right, let's get in. Let's all enjoy.
Dahani is already eaten one whole like a cormorant. She's picked one up by the tail and
Yeah.
has just no, she's just like if you've ever seen like a cormorant or a pelican just kind of like gulp down a fish, that's what she has done.
Yeah, just like an entire fish, one whole fish. Sweet. Okay. All right. As you are gulping down this fish, the same attendant comes back, and he has a plate of what would look like to you to be scrambled eggs. Like they're not yellow, but they look like they would have the consistency of eggs. And like he says, "This is the best I can do."
Wow, these look pretty amazing. I think this is exactly the kind of eggs I've been waiting for my entire life. I'm ready to dig in.
Okay. And then like he pulls out two small tubes, one with salt and one with like a pepper in it. And then he says like, "I know there's some people that can't have eggs without extra pepper or extra salt. Is this what you want?"
Yeah, go ahead and start putting it on there.
All right. He starts he says like, "Tell me when to stop." And he's going. How much pepper would you like him to put on here?
About 5 minutes worth of pepper.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
That's the exact right amount.
He looks a little bewildered, but he says, okay. And he begins to dash this pepper on top of the eggs.
Wow.
5 minutes later, he stops, and you can't see the eggs anymore. It's essentially like a mound of pepper on top of these eggs. And then he says, "I hope this is to your liking."
I hope so too. I believe this will be exactly what I've been craving for the last 30 minutes since I've been awake.
Okay. So he leaves. And y'all have a great breakfast. Is this something that like Ren would like, I'm assuming? Like very heavily peppered eggs.
Oh, he likes these eggs very much. So
okay, because it's like pepper with eggs. Basically what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. As you eat them, I mean, they definitely taste very fishy. I mean, it's definitely fish, but it is of the consistency, and so it tastes like egg substitute, like very fishy egg substitute. And Ren loves it. You love it. All right, awesome. Celise is like off in the corner, but she hasn't really gotten up. She's just kind of like wrestling in the bed, but like she is kind of like sound asleep. Then like you hear another knock, which is like kind of like a softer knock. "Hello," and you recognize the voice as Hiln Trollbane, who you talked to the previous night.
I'll go get the door.
Okay. All right. As you get the door, open the door, you see again a dwarf who kind of looks like an elf in the right lighting, But at this point in the morning, it looks like a dwarf, And she basically says, "I think we should get started."
I think
Are you ready?
looks at Celise and like back to the group like, maybe we should let them sleep. They had a busy day. Yes, I think we're good.
Is Duo here?
Duo is not here. So like he was there when you went to the room. He is not there this morning.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Uh, I will say, yeah, I think Celeste looked a little troubled yesterday, so I think we should probably let her sleep. We'll leave a note or something,
Mm-hmm.
but we should definitely find Duo before we get moving in earnest. So I'll take a note and I'll take some of my paper and I'll say, gone to do things, BRB, love you, bye.
Okay. When like Kiln, when she hears you say duo, she like says, "Oh, is that the little kobold that was with you earlier?"
Yes.
Depends,
Oh,
what has he done?
he's been all around already. He's made lots of friends. He's made lots of friends.
Can I make an insight on when she
He's an
says
early
the word
riser,
friends?
that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's downstairs in the main hall if you want to see him, but he's been keeping everyone laughing.
Oh, okay. That's good, I suppose.
Mhm.
He hasn't broken anything or stolen anything, has he?
Well, he might have broken some people's hearts, but that's about it. He's pretty smooth. If I was a little younger.
Okay, let's go.
Are we talking about the same duo?
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
All right, so I'm assuming you guys like you get ready, get dressed, you put your stuff on, all that good stuff, and you head down to the main hall. When you head down to the main hall, you see Duo standing on top of a table, and you see a bunch of other people, about like 10 folks, surrounding him, and he is telling a story. And they look very engrossed by the story. As soon as you walk in, you just hear a whole bunch of like laughter and like clapping as he is telling his story.
I'm gonna listen to the story.
Okay. All right. As you get closer, he eyes you as you're coming in, and then he kind of switches his like eyes back to the crowd, and he's basically like, yeah, so like what happened was like, I have this team of like folks and they follow me, and we've had lots of crazy battles, lots of amazing battles, but if there's one thing that was consistent with all these battles is that Captain Duo led his team, and like we made sure to vanquish the worst of the worst from Waterdeep, and that helped save Icewind Dale, because if bad stuff happened in Waterdeep, it might come up north here. So I'm kind of like your southern guardian. I'm the guardian of Icewind Dale, and then he like holds up a drink of mead and says, "Cheers to the guardian of Icewind Dale." And then everybody else holds their glasses up. And they all take a drink.
I'm gonna make an insight check on this audience, if they're actually going along with him, or if they're all like,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Roll
who
insight.
gave Duo alcohol?
I got a 16.
A 6 or a 16?
16.
16. Okay. Yeah, I mean, they don't seem like they're like, under any kind of influence any kind of magical influence, I would say. But you can definitely, with your insight check, you can notice that they're all dressed like very differently. So they all seem like they're all from different areas. They're dressed significantly like differently from the guards in Icewind Dale. So you get a sense that they're all also likely people that traveled here as merchants. So they're probably not as familiar with with Waterdeep or the rivals of Waterdeep. So they're pretty much just buying what he's putting down, because they have no other reason not to believe him.
Sure.
Got it.
So Sheriff, he comes up to y'all, and he basically says, he's quite the storyteller.
It's
Yep.
It's part of the branding for salesmanship. You need a good story.
Are his stories true?
Does it matter?
Well, I just need to know again that we're not bringing any trouble into the village. And he's told a lot of stories about leading your group into dangerous situations, some that it seems like you provoked to get some coin.
Oh, he
So
hasn't.
I just need to make sure that that's not going to happen here.
He hasn't led us into anything. Don't worry.
So his stories are not true.
Nope. Captain Duo has never led us into any adventures whatsoever.
Well, is there a leader?
I'm the leader.
I should have known, and like he's kind of looking at your, because as we remember from the beginning of the season, like Rin has gotten jacked.
He sure has.
So he's kind of like admiring your pectorals, and he basically says like, I figured, definitely looks like you can take a hit or two.
Yeah, I've been in many battles and many wars, but leading a group like this takes a lot of time, a lot of stress, and a lot of effort on my part. But we've gone through a lot of things. Duo is just, the second in command. So,
Okay, second.
And there's a second in command, and there's a second one after that person, and after that person, it's the second one, and then after that person, it's Duo.
That's interesting. Here in Icewind Dale, we might have a different command of numbers. We use third in command to be after the second, and then fourth in command. But I think I see what you're. I think I see what you're putting down, though.
Our group has our own unique way of doing things.
It's like everyone's a second in command.
Put it this way: if the rest of us are incapacitated, Duo's the one for you.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Understood. Then he walks very close to Ren, kind of getting in your personal space. And he basically says, leader to leader, let's make sure that you do your business, you sell your wares, and be on your way. Understood?
Understood. Can gladly do that.
That means no investigating on any things that you might have heard about. I saw you talking to it. I saw you talking to the dwarf. She's a bit of a rabble rouser. She's been around for a while, but trust me, she's just here to put her nose in things that she doesn't need to be concerned with. So, if you can relay that to your team, I would appreciate it.
Yes, I will go have a conversation with them about it, just to make sure we're all on the same page, so we don't mess up anybody's boundaries or areas that they're going to be in.
Okay.
So Ren turns around and says, "Team!" He's like,
I'll call Captain Duo from off the table.
Okay. How do you call Captain Duo?
I say, hey, Captain Duo, we need to have a team meeting.
Okay, so like he looks at the group of like people, and he basically says, "Look, guys, I gotta pause this because the leader's got to lead." And then he jumps off the table and he goes toward y'all. Hey, you didn't really hear anything I was saying, did you?
No, not at all, Captain Duo.
And how you saved the rivals from so much, and you're the reason why we actually, that part was true. You are the reason why we're here. And your backhanded deals, and like Gosrick starts like sort of ranting and mumbling.
He's got a list.
Yeah.
Look, but look. Guess what I did?
What did you do?
And he has his little bag. And he pulls out a little kind of looks like a I guess it's like equivalent of like of like a brown paper bag. And he like shakes it, and you hear the very familiar clink 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 of coins. And he says, all these people, they all want to support a leader. And I went around and I passed the donation plate around. I'm sorry, I just
No.
totally out of character.
You're good.
And I just asked for some donations to help us with our cause, and they all gave it. And like, believe it or not, I'm making progress toward saving the mana.
I would like to make an insight check on whether he passed the donation plate around or whether he filled the donation plate from people's pockets.
You may.
Oh, wow. That's a 28.
Okay, wow. You can very clearly see when you look at the people that were in that group that they don't look like they're people that would have spare gold. They look like that they were people that came to Icewind Dale to make money, but not like to ball out. They wouldn't be the type to donate to some random person that wasn't like helping them specifically. So you get a sense that Duo, while some people may have donated, the majority of this stuff he acquired in Duo-like means, in Duo-like fashion.
Got it. I'm going to take the bag.
Yeah. All right. He like says, "Oh, well, I mean, if you want to hold it for me, I mean, that's really nice of you."
Yeah, I'll hold it for all of us, for the manor, for the rivals.
Thank you. Oh, that's so nice of you. Hey, where's Celise? Because there's all this niceness. So like Celise says, I got to be somewhere to like balance this out. Where's she at?
She's sleeping.
Oh, she's sleeping.
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
And don't worry, she'll meet us when she needs to meet us. For now, let's go. And I like kind of put my arm around her shoulder as we like walk out into the city.
Okay. As you go to walk toward the city, Hiln kind of like she like runs up to you, and as she's running, it seems weird because when she was sitting and when she came up to like your room, like she's pretty elderly. I mean, she had a cane. When she starts running, she looks like a little more brisk than you were expecting. And she basically says, "Wait." And do y'all like kind of turn around and acknowledge her, or do you just keep going?
Oh, well, she's the one who kind of gave us a task, so
yes.
I would turn around.
Okay.
I mean, we don't know where we're going.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So as you turn around, she is like completely out of breath. And she basically says like, "Look, Sapphic, I'm not sure he's in Bryn Shanda. I think he's in one of the other 10 towns. But like I'm not really I'm not completely sure, but like I've like definitely seen him in a Bremen or in East Haven. So I would check those first. And there's several people out that that can either ride you there in their dog sleds, or if you want to try to brave it on your own, I mean you can too. But I wouldn't recommend that for like a new person. But I would try either Bremen or East Haven.
Did you say that there were 10 towns?
Yes, 10 towns.
Mm-hmm.
And so Bryn Shander is one that we're in, and
Yes.
Bremen is another, and East Haven is a third?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to get my facts straight.
Yes, and I wouldn't worry about the others because I haven't seen Shapik in those other ones, so I would restrict yourself to just these two.
Okay.
Okay.
As the do not go curtain slides over the other 7 towns.
Yeah. It's like those invisible walls in games. You try to go and you just block into it, or it's glitched or something.
Exactly.
Gazrick wants to ask if it's like, what does Shafik look like?
Oh God. He kind of changes his look a lot.
Well, that
but
is
the
good
way,
to know.
yes. But I mostly see him. He looks like a human, except he has very deep blue eyes. Very deep blue eyes. And strangely enough, he walks around out in the winter wearing very little. He pretty much wears a shirt, pants, as you would wear in the South. He doesn't seem to wear any heavy coats or anything of that nature. There's rumors that he could have something to do with the eternal winter that we've been experiencing. Because after all, if he's walking around with like no protection, it seems like he is either somehow aligned with the cold, or maybe aligned with. And then she like leans in and she whispers like, "The Frost Maiden." No one quite knows, but that's how he was the last time I've seen him. But he's known to, go out on the town and try to like disguise himself to be anonymous.
And why don't the guards want to stop the Ice Maiden?
Well, they're definitely concerned about the Frost Maiden. But this Sephic guy, I've warned them several times, and they've all essentially told me to stop digging. And honestly, I'm pretty sure he's responsible for some innocent people getting murdered. So I don't know why they don't investigate, which is why I've been looking for people to do the investigation for me.
All right. Well, I suppose, which is closer, Bremen or East Haven?
They're both. I would say that they're not too much farther away. But if you wanted a suggestion of where to start, I would say Bremen.
All right. And do you know if there's any carriages or any travel?
Oh yes.
Yeah, good.
If you go right outside, there should be like merchants with dog sleds. Either you can buy a dog sled if you're familiar with operating it, or you can pay them to bring you, or you can try to walk there on your own, which I do not recommend. But some people that don't have the coin to afford the merchants, that they'll like do that. I can sense that you are from here, but I still would not suggest you try to walk on your own.
No, not with my friends. It would be unwise.
Yes.
And plus, we have coin now to garner us on our journey.
Yes, we do.
Yes, I did notice. You might want to watch out for, and like she's kind of gesturing her head toward a duo. and like she like says, you might want to keep your assets close and keep your pockets sealed, because I observed some things from that one.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
We plan to give the money back to the merchants it was taken from.
Well, you might need the money. It might come in hand. So
Right. In the way of giving them money for things.
It's all going back to the local economy, and ultimately, well, it's an investment for the ridding the land of this god-cursed snow.
Okay. All right. Any other information that you need from me? Because unfortunately, I can't go with you.
Where will you be? You staying here?
Yeah, this is where I've been for a short while now. It's a little troublesome for me to get around, so I stay here. Like, my food is here, like my lodging is here, and the soldiers don't they don't make too much trouble as long as I don't dig my nose in people's business too much.
Well, just be ready for our return and our payment upon return.
Oh yes, do not worry about that. I have money to spare. And I also heard and then she turns to like Duo, who is like kind of like out of range a bit, so he can't really hear. And like she's like, I heard the kobold talking about some money that he owes. And I can guarantee you that if you handle and solve these murders, which I've been trying to solve for quite some time, you will not have to worry about that financial situation that you're currently in.
I mean, that's a lot of money for solving murders, but sure.
It is a lot of money, but I've spent my time gathering money, and I have nothing more to do these days than have people do things, and I give them money. So it's really nothing to me.
I look at Ren and Gosrick and it's like, we good?
I think so.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Couple things about Bremen that you might want to know. The harbor is frozen, so the fishers actually have to bring their boats across the ice to be able to get to the part of the lake that actually allows them to fish.
Okay.
Also, Bremen does not really flood as some of the other towns do.
Despite being on a lake?
Yes. Yes, very, very interesting part of this town. Another thing, our town speaker. I don't know. I mean, you're like probably not familiar with the speakers, but every town has a speaker that represents, like the concerns of the citizen. The town speaker has been found just wandering around in the middle of the night, with no memory of how he got there. He's a very old dwarf, even older than I am. So you might hear some tales about the speaker being near his end, and that has the citizens in a bit of a tizzy because he's been representing their interests for a very long time.
And what is his name? Do you know?
Yes, his name is. Excuse me, because I've not said it in a long time, and it might be the first time I've ever saying it out loud, even though I read it in the PDF I had that was sent to me.
Oh, where's the fourth wall? Where did that go?
His name is Dobelgruff Shaliskar.
You know, the PDF, the public document of fun
Folklore?
folklore. Yes, folklore.
Exactly. I just shorten it to PDF because I think it sounds a little better. I don't like to waste my words, so I call it a PDF. I don't know if it'll catch on.
Can you say that name just one more time?
Dorbelgruff Shaliskar.
Ooh.
I think I mispronounced the last name differently. Shaliskar.
That's okay.
I'm sure they'll recognize it when we say it.
Exactly.
Of course, everyone has their own pronunciation for the name, so
It's all regional. It's all regional dialects.
Dialect
It's all
changes from town
dialects.
to town, you know.
Exactly. All these things. So, if you need me, you can always like send a messenger back. You know, if you need to get my attention or my information on something. Otherwise, I wish you well.
Thank you. We hope to return with good news.
Okay. Oh, and one more thing. If you hear any tales about a lake monster, stay far away.
So, okay.
I don't know what else we would do, but
Yes.
okay.
Yeah,
I think we gotta go right for it.
entirely
Yeah.
different mission, you know. That's not what we're here for.
I mean, it is, but a lot of adventurers have been seduced by tales of a lake monster and of being able to take this monster down and you know, get renown, get coin, and that kind of thing. But I would suggest to stay far away.
I don't think we have to worry about that.
Mm-mm.
Just don't let Duo hear about it.
Yeah.
Wait, what? What?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Come,
Oh,
we're going.
okay.
We're going to see
We're-
dogs.
You were going to go see a man about a dog.
A dog. Oh, okay. Well, I was already talking to like some like the dog sled people, like when like I got up early, and I already got us one.
Did you rob them?
No,
Mhm.
I paid
Are you
for
sure?
it with money that I might have, quote unquote, robbed. But that's not robbing the sleds. It's like you rob something, you use that to pay for something. You pay for it like legitimately, even though to get to what you got to pay legitimately is not legitimate. So it's a bit of
So-
like a weird thing.
Kind of like a Robin Hood situation, so to speak.
Hmm.
Robin Hood is a very he's a hero in Chult. He took some things from some very bad people and gave them to
Mhm.
very good people.
Mhm.
So when things like that happen, we say
Oh.
that it's like a Robin Hood situation.
Is he a kobold?
No,
No.
Hmm.
He's a
Rob from
druid
the
that
rich.
sometimes a wild shapes into a fox. It's a whole thing. I've heard the
The whole
story as well.
thing.
Anyways, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Duo, he like whips out his little paper. He starts taking some notes. He's like, Robin Hood, wild shape into a fox.
is that my paper Duo?
He quickly puts it back in his pocket. And so everybody want to exit the mess hall?
Mhm.
Yeah, if Duo
Mhm.
got us a dog sled. I'm curious to see what kind of dog sled he got us.
Mm-hmm.
So as you exit, you see a dog sled there with like a bunch of dogs that are like eating food. It's about 4 dogs. And you see the sheriff next to the dog sled.
Don't like the
And-
sheriff.
Mm.
He's everywhere.
He is everywhere. And like he says, I just came to see you off. Now, do you feel comfortable driving this sled yourselves? because I would really recommend you have someone that has experience with driving these sleds.
I will drive. I've got it. It's not my
Okay.
first time behind this sled wagon.
Okay. Great. I respect that. And then he walks back into the hall. So Gazrick, I want you to give me a animal handling roll.
Cool. Can I cast Speak with Animals beforehand?
Yes, you can.
Cool.
Yes, you can.
Nice.
I cast Speak with Animals on myself, and then I'll approach them.
Okay.
And I got a 17 plus 5, so I didn't even need it. And I go,
Perfect.
yes, all right, buddies, let's get going. We're
Buddies?
traveling. Yes,
Buddies?
my buddy. Yes, of course.
I'm your buddy?
Yes, of course, buddy. And look,
I mean, we just met.
of course.
I'm not your buddy.
You're my buddy because if you do a good job, I'm going to give you a knuckle trout.
Knuckle, what kind of condescending thing is that? This is a business transaction. You pay for the sled. I'm going to bring you there.
Okay, you're right.
Like, I'm
Sorry.
not your pet.
No, but I mean, buddy.
What's this buddy snack thing?
Okay, all right. You're good at your job. Sorry for me to be unprofessional and assuming that you wanted to a treat after doing your good work.
Wait, treat?
Yeah, you knuckle trout.
Can you show me this knuckle trout?
Can you get me to town first?
Of course I can.
Then
I'm one of the best sledders out there.
Perfect.
All right. So the dogs, they kind of get in the formation as if they are ready to go. I'll say that the sled is big enough to fit 4 people.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So I know Gosrick mentioned that like you want to be the one actually riding.
Yeah, I'll control.
Duo also wants to be in front, so he's going to be sitting right next to you, unless anyone else has an objection to that.
I'm okay with this.
Okay, so that means that Rin and Dahani will be in the back. All right, we're off.
Mush.
Give me an animal handling.
Another animal handling?
Gosrick. Yes.
Cool. Oh, 15 plus 5. The boy can't be stopped.
Can't be stopped.
Dirty 20.
Okay. You are a wizard.
Mm-hmm.
Like you are, even though you've been gone for a little bit, you've not lost a step.
Mm-hmm.
You even hear the dogs chatting amongst themselves, like, "Hey, look, this guy's really good. This guy's really good. I don't have to do anything." You know.
I think if I could provide a little backstory for this, if that's all right.
Sure.
I think because the thing about Godric is he is a druid. He doesn't really spend that much time in the town. He's mostly like out in the wilds, getting gear and merchant material, hunting monsters to then be fed. He'd prefer actually to be out there. So like knowing the lands and like the ice scapes. So I think he like knows like, oh, there's actually a ridge over there. So we should like maybe try to go around that. There's like a snowbank that's kind of loose on this part. And sort of like kind of guiding them according to the winds of the ice.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So how do Dahani and Rin respond to like Gosrick's mastery of the sled?
I'm just
No, Dahani is she's never been on a dog sled before, so it's cool. She just kind of just like enjoys it. Like she's kind of impressed to watch Gazrick do what he's doing, but also she's keeping an eye on Duo because just in case Duo wants to try and operate the sled as well, she will try to stop him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's not trying to operate the sled, but he's definitely trying to mimic Gosrick's motions. So like as a Gosrick is like, he's going up with his hands, like Duo's trying to go up with his hands. He's like trying to mimic that because he is definitely going to try to drive this thing.
Of course he is.
All right. So
what are you doing, Ren?
Yeah.
Oh,
What are you doing,
I'm
Ryan?
ready to get to see this sled go. I'm
I mean, like, you guys have been going,
Yeah.
like you see Gosrick's just like handling it. Um, do you have any reaction, or like, are you just like, this is about what I
Hands in the
expected?
air. Hands in the air like it's a
Okay.
roller coaster. Every bump we hit. Boom.
Yep. I will say that like there's a part of the journey where you hit a little bit of a hill where you do lift off the air a little bit, and you do
cool.
Yes.
you do raise your hands in the air. I would say you're the only one though that raises your
That's
hands.
fine. I'm used to being by myself in most of
Because
these
you're in a very
situations.
dangerous snowy area, and
Mhm.
everyone else is holding on for dear life, and you're like, put your hands in the air. Yeah. Is there is anyone here like a roller coaster fan? You guys like roller coasters?
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
Until you don't.
I'm like so scared of roller coasters, yo.
Is it
And
all,
I've been on a lot of them.
is it all of
but-
them, or is it like a specific type, or is it just like?
So I think part of it is so like growing up in the New York area, I would go to Coney Island where they have the Cyclone, which is like a really old like wooden roller coaster. And that was the only roller coaster I went on when I was younger. It's very scary because it's old and creaky. I don't even think it's in operation anymore. I'm not sure. So I hadn't really been on a lot of like the newer style of roller coasters. But even going on those, like my stomach goes all over the place. It's not fun for me.
Mhm.
Like I get off and like I'm like, great. I risked my life for a minute and a half. Awesome.
Now, I did a roller. My mom, like, this is such a weird tangent. My mom's job used to get Six Flags all to themselves for a while.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
So that was my first time going on a roller coaster, and I was so excited beforehand. And when I got off that roller coaster, I was like, never again,
Oh my god.
never again.
I can't.
Yeah.
I don't like the giant drops. Those ones that just like take you straight up, and like I can just like see the heights are what get me more than like the speed and the movement.
Yeah, and like that's exactly how the old school ones as a Cyclone are. It's just one big drop at the beginning, and it's just like the momentum going. Yeah, it's can't do it, y'all. I mean, if I'm with a group and they're like, we're all gonna do it, I'll do it. But like, I don't like go places like, yo, I gotta check out this roller coaster. I'm like, I'm chilling,
Right.
chilling. All right, so after we finish our roller coaster ride, I'll say, after about an hour and a half. I mean, it's pretty far, because the towns are all like, as like Hiln would have like I shared with you, like the 10 towns are spread out, so like they're not like all in the same area. So after about an hour and a half, you end up at the town of Bremen, and you notice it because you see the symbol, which is like different from the Bryn Sander symbol. So like the symbol of like Bremen is like a big yellow circle. It kind of looks like a sun, and it has like a turquoise triangle to the right of it, and like a bluish rectangle to the left of it. So that is like how you know that you are in a new area, because for the last hour and a half you've only seen snow pretty much. All right. So you are coming up on Bremen. All right. And as you get to the area that basically has like, you see a whole bunch of like other dog sleds in like a general area. So you note that that's probably where you park your dog sled. I'll even say that maybe Gosrick does like a nice, like a parallel parking job. Maybe parallel parks his dog sled.
Easy. All right. Okay. Good. I didn't. It's one pass. Didn't even have to pull out again. Perfect.
Sweet. Awesome. And as you all are getting off of your sled, you immediately see people standing right near the sled parking, and they are basically screaming like, Come to Stones, come to the Even Keel, come to the River's Mouth, the Grumpy Moose, the Black Bearded Brother. And they're all kind of like screaming over each other. Come, come, all merchants must come and drink our finest at like our best tavern, which is Even Keel. No, the Grumpy Moose. What do you mean? The Black Bearded Brother, of course. No, you should come to Stones. So they're all screaming over each other, trying to get you to come to their tavern. How do you respond?
I will go in one. The one on the left.
Okay. So like you can't see them yet. So like
Mhm.
all you do is just hear these people.
I mean,
So
let's
do you
see
mean what's up?
I like turned to the group. I was like, let's see who's offering the better rates on their mead and their drink. You know.
Oh yeah, we could probably even get them into like a bidding war. That way, once they decide on who's going to offer the lowest amount of money or who's going to be the cheapest, then we can go with that one.
I like that idea.
I'm
I
very
mean,
impressed.
the other option is also bar crawl.
This bird is right.
All right. So these people are shouting at you. How do you want to approach, or like who wants to approach them?
Ren, you should ask them how much they each charge for their food.
Yes.
Okay. So Ren walks up, says, hello. My name is Ren here. I have an interest in checking out either of your establishments, but I need to know the rates of your food and drinks at both your establishments. Go.
What kind of food? What kind of food? What kind of food?
Potatoes.
Okay.
Alcohol.
Alcohol. We have the cheapest ale. Well, like his ale is the cheapest because it's disgusting. Our ale is more expensive, but it's great. Our ale is right in the middle. Our ale tastes great, less filling. Tastes great, less filling. And they're like going back and forth, trying to outdo each other. So you don't really get a sense of who is quote unquote has the best deal because they're all, trying to sell you into getting there.
Got it.
I mean, to be real, we could go to one today and then the other one tomorrow, or just crawl from one to the other.
Is there anybody who is not being as loud and obnoxious as the rest of these people? Because anybody who's modest, I would definitely want to check out.
There is one that is screaming along with them, but is noticeably more reserved.
I'm gonna go up to that person. I'm gonna say, "What is your establishment like?"
Okay. So he separates himself off from the group, and like as he separates himself off, all the other people are like, wait a minute, don't go pick that one. That's the worst place in the world. Nobody wants to go to the Grumpy Moose. Are you kidding me? And then he like turns to you, to like a Dahani, and he basically says, Well, the Grumpy Moose offers a lot of great establishments. I mean, we basically have like ale for like a really great price, and we have awesome lodging. I'm sorry, I lost my voice a bit because I was screaming, and I'm not really a screamer, but this is kind of the only way that I can get people into our business. So please come, please come.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Before I go, I look to see if there's any treats near the dog sled station, so I do not lie to these dogs.
So you do see a dwarf who is near a bunch of boats that are kind of tied to the docks, and you see the dwarf holding a bunch of like treats.
It's like I'll meet you in the moose, the Grumpy Moose. I'll be right back, and I'll go talk to this guy.
Okay. What do you want to say?
Just want to He's like, oh yes, so you have treats available for the sled dogs?
Of course. I mean, I always have to feed all of my sleds here, all of my dogs here.
May I purchase some from you?
Yes. One question though. Did you receive a summons to be hired by Grinsk Brelibor? Because I've been waiting for some merchants, and they've not shown up. Are you those merchants?
Unfortunately, friend, I am not. Me and my comrades here are on a different journey and different mission. Perhaps when we finish and you're still waiting, we could help you out, but priority begs that we answer our first call first.
Shareef, the cameras are broken.
Yeah, I just changed them. Now they are unbroken.
Look at
They've been
that.
unbroken.
Oh, look
long
at
they were
that.
broken. I'm the breaker of chains.
Yeah,
Hey.
Shareef Jackson, the unbroken.
The breaker of frames.
The breaker
The
of
breaker of
frames.
camera frames.
Yes.
First of his name, King of the Andals, first man. I love it. No, that was totally my fault. All right, so so as this dwarf is like offering you the like treats, he like basically says, well, there's quite a bit of fishers that have been going missing, and these merchants. So just I don't remember some of the people that I've hired, because I tend to have some ale every once in a while. By the way, don't go to the Grumpy Moose. Their ale is not great. But I've been trying to hire people to find out about this monster that people say haunts one of the lakes there. It's just been a bad couple of days. But here's some treats.
Oh, thank you.
Gives you some
It's
treats.
like, well, I hope it gets better. Bye-bye.
Life is terrible. Here are dog treats.
Wait. Do you leave?
No, I mean, I'll like turn around as I'm like walking to
Okay.
because he's kind of near the sleds, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll just like feed the dogs while he's talking to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like look, I'm just looking for some help. All I know is that like there's bloody ice everywhere. I mean, like one of my boats was like damaged. I mean, the last crew was apparently born with pits for eyes because they sailed right into a damned ice floe. If I hadn't gotten to repairing the gunwale yet. But she still floats just fine.
Okay. Well, here what, friend? We've got some business to take care of, and then when we're done, I'll come see you again. What's your name?
My name. Hold on, I'm gonna check the PDF that I was given.
Oh yes, the
from,
folklore of
The
public
the
documents.
public document of folklore.
Unnecessary.
Yes. Yes, it is open source document. Grisk Barrelball.
Grisk Barrelbore. Well, Grisk, it's wonderful to meet you, Gazrik Nomred, the root of the land. And, I don't spend much time on the ice lake for this reason, but I will see what my friends and I can do after we get some drink and food in.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So I'm assuming that you leave after you finish this.
We do the classic dwarf forearm grasp on our way out, and then I walk into the Grumpy Moose.
Okay. All right. So the Grumpy Moose is not too far away. As you approach it, you see that it is actually shaped like the head of a moose. It's like it's wooden and brick and stuff, but it's shaped in a way that it looks like a moose.
That's cool.
And you enter in the mouth portion of the moose. So there's like a door, it's like an open mouth, and there's a door. And you enter inside of the grumpy moose. As you enter in, you notice that this place is in a bit of disrepair. Does not look too great. But there are people like milling about. It's pretty small. I'd say there's about 5 people that are like milling about, and there's one like small bar kind of like in the back, and there's a few tables, that are there. So the person that guided you here says, I'll go right in the back. I'll be right out to take your orders. And then he goes in the back, and you are just in the middle of this bar with about 5 or so people, just like shilling about. And there's a couple tables, and there's a like a bar seats in the back. What do you do?
I think it's another time to have a search for eggs and peppers for dinner.
Okay. Do you want to? How do you want to search? You want to ask people? You want to roll investigation yourself? What do you wanna do?
I will roll investigation because I would like to see if I can find out about this. 7.
Okay. You do not see any eggs and peppers. You do see that there are some people that have other foods though.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's definitely people that are like eating here. But you don't see your desired
Desired egg.
yes.
Can I look for a waiter or manager or bartender?
Yes, you can. Sure. Yeah. At the bar, you see a orc there that is just like cleaning glasses and like wiping down the bar top.
Hello, good sir. I have a question for you.
Sure.
Sounds very familiar. I was wondering, would
I
I
don't
be
have
able
many voices.
would I be able to have a menu that your establishment may have?
A menu?
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Waterdeep.
Oh. Look, do you want something to drink or do you want something to eat?
Can I have a little bit of both, sir? Is that allowed in this establishment?
Of course.
Okay, well, can I get some mead? And then for my meal, I would like to have scrambled eggs with a side of pepper that has been put on the eggs for at least 5 minutes, and then also a side of butter.
Butter.
Mm-hmm.
What is butter?
Is that stuff that it's usually red, but you put it on like different things, like
Are you a whaler by any chance?
No.
You hunt any whales?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Wow.
Not yet.
Mm-hmm. Life is grand, so you never know what could happen.
All right. Well, I'll get you something to eat and something to drink.
Okay.
So he kind of ducks down under the table. Well, under the bar, and he comes back up with a big pitcher of an ale. He slams down on there, and he also has, he comes like up with like a plate with like a fish on it, and also puts that down, and says, "That'll be 20 gold."
Jesus.
You may have misheard me. I am not looking for fish. I am looking for scrambled eggs eggs, please, for 20 gold. I would like to have exactly what I ordered on my plate. Thank you.
Do you want it or not?
Did you not hear what I said, or should I repeat it, or?
Hey, does anyone here want some fish and ale?
I'll take a
Okay.
fish.
You can have it. I'm walking outside, and then Ren walks out because he's
Outside the whole bar?
yeah, because he's mad.
Okay. All right.
I think that's when Gosrick sort of walks like past them and like catches Rin walking out. It's like, oh, no good food here.
They're not giving me what I want, so I don't even want to be here.
Oh, okay. Well, I quickly run down the explanation of like the lake monster and be like, yeah, but that's like a tomorrow or like next week problem. Anyways, wait, where's Duo?
Mm.
Good
Are you
question.
asking me?
No,
or
I'm asking
Rin?
Ren because
Yeah.
in what's it called? Gosrick's mind, that's his Pokemon, you know? That's is Duo and Tahani just inside?
I don't know where he is. I'm just really mad because I was really hungry, and for the second time today, people are not getting my food order correctly. I don't know. Duo's probably somewhere. You can go
Oh,
find if you look in there.
Okay, I'm going to let you know there are not many chickens here in Icewind Dale, so there are not really many eggs. And if you find them, it's going to be very, very expensive. Ask for fish eggs. You know, I heard it's not too bad here. You get same protein. Might be what you're looking for.
Would you be interested in buying my first try of this fish egg before I dive into it myself and use my
Yes.
own money for this?
Oh, I love fish. I if you get the right one, it's delicious. Tastes like the sea. Come on. And I like pull him back into the Grumpy Moose to like grab some like fish eggs. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe some oysters. Like, see, yeah.
Sure. All right. So
Mhm.
when the bartender sees like Gosrick,
Mhm.
he can sense that Gosrick is from Icewind Dale. He might not be from this town, but he seems like he's a little more from this area. So he looks at like Gosrick, and he basically says, "What would you like to eat?" I'm sorry, I was not aware that this gentleman was with you.
No, it's okay,
Would you-
friend. I think it's we're some of them are new and getting used to the change in diet. Yeah, what caviar do you have available?
Well, I have our house caviar.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
Just get a plate of
straight
that.
out of the lake.
Oh, delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any you have any crackers to put on or bread?
I kind of ran out of crackers, but
that's okay.
But I did hear you talking about some oysters and stuff. I could get some of that. I mean, for you.
Perfect.
And then he looks at Rin and says, "Look, out of towners get a different menu than people that are from here, because I know that the people here have specific tastes. Mostly people, they just come here and they just want the fish. So I just offer them the fish, and I'm good. But if you told me that you were here with a local, I would have hooked you up."
Well, are you gonna hook me up now or what?
Sure. And then he goes in the back, and he does come out. Actually, you know what? Let me see this here. He comes out with some eggs. But well, so how does Rin? So you wanted scrambled eggs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like your eggs like runny, or like no yolk, or like what kind of eggs would Rin like?
Scrambled, with a side of butter.
Okay.
Possibly, some extra like um, pepper, hot
Okay.
pepper, not just like
All right.
the normal, like hot pepper. Yeah.
Okay.
And like,
So the bartender rolled a 4. So it's going to be the exact opposite of what you
Oh
just said.
no.
It's going to be poached eggs, and they're going to have salt on top of them, and no butter. So he's going to bring them out, and like he's like going to say, because you're here with a local, this one's on the house.
I don't know about this, but I mean, free food is free food, so I guess I will try to enjoy this.
Dahani shouts from the table with her knucklehead trot. Does that count? Does that this too? Because I'm with them. I'm with him too. But I like this fish.
Oh, it'll be all on the same tab. All right. And you said that you wanted oysters and caviar, right? Gazer.
I dig in. I have a good time.
Okay, sure. All right. So as you're eating, you see an individual enter this bar. He is surprisingly comes in from the cold, not really wearing that much. He looks like he was in Waterdeep or something, right? He just has like pants and just like a shirt on and so deep blue eyes. And he just walks in, and he goes up to the bartender and says, "The usual." And then the bartender says, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir." And he goes in the back. And then the guy just like kind of sits at the at the bar by himself.
I kind of elbow both Tahani and Ren and be like, "It's a blue eyes. It's the guy, I think."
I'll turn around and look at him. He looks like he's just wearing regular clothes.
Mhm.
Well, that was fast.
Mm-hmm.
What do we do? Where is Duo?
Yeah.
As soon as you say where's Duo, when you look back at the bar top, Duo was in the seat next to this guy.
Okay.
Chatting with him. Just chatting with him. Like you can't quite tell what they're saying unless you get a little closer, but he's chatting with him.
Okay. I'm gonna keep an eye on Duo, and I'm gonna try to see if I can at least glean the conversation from where I'm sitting. I don't want to get up though.
Okay. All right. Roll. Are you trying to like lean in and listen, kind of?
Yeah, I don't want to necessarily get up, but I want to
Right.
see if I can at least kind of understand what they're the basics of what they're talking about.
Yeah. What would you roll for that? Tell me what you want to roll for it. What do you want to roll for that?
I want to roll a perception check.
Yeah, it could be perception.
Okay.
Yeah, perception sounds good.
Oh, that was better than I was expecting. So 22.
Okay. What you can gauge from like sort of the body language and like all that stuff is that Duo is sharing the same story that he was sharing at the mess hall, where he is regaling this individual with tales of Captain Duo.
Okay.
But you can also tell that the person that he is talking to isn't really reacting, just kind of sitting there. Like he's turning and acknowledging him, but he's like turned to Duo and nodding and that kind of stuff. But he's not nearly as into it as the people at the mess hall were.
Got it. I'm gonna give it like a no. Hold on.
You will understand
we
soon.
Mhm. This seems ominous.
hold on. Are we back? We cut out for a second.
Oh yeah,
Were,
Back.
yeah, we're back.
were we off?
Yeah, we're back now. Okay,
Yeah.
Oh,
we're back.
okay. I did not even.
Yeah,
notice.
there was a bit of a hiccup and we cut out for a bit.
Yeah, I'm trying not to like run the stream on the same. I'm trying to keep all my bandwidth for the host.
Right. No,
Yeah.
that's why I'm keeping an eye on it. But yeah, we're
Cool.
fine.
Thank
So
you.
I think maybe if you want to repeat what he said, that would be a
Okay.
good thing.
Sure. So I believe Dahani was asking if he was cold and like how he does that, and he basically says, "Well, some of us bring our own warmth."
Right. Okay. Like, do you have like hand warmers in your pockets or?
Why are you asking so many questions to someone you don't even know?
Well, it was just a curiosity. Yeah, everybody that I've seen so far has been all nice and snug and bundled up, and your eyes are super blue and they're kind of pretty. I like shiny things. So I'm just curious. But come on, Duo, let's go. And I'm gonna grab Duo around the waist and pull him back.
Okay. When you say his eyes are pretty, you notice he kind of that kind of sparks his eyes kind of go up a little bit, like his eyebrows raise, and he basically says, "Are you complimenting me?"
Yes. Yes.
Well, I'm not used to people being so forward, especially after meeting someone so soon. I must say though, I'm sorry, I just don't have room for another person right now.
I, that's not, don't worry about it. Neither do I. It was just a compliment. I am a bird.
I'm very flattered. I'm very flattered.
Wait a minute. How did you manage to turn this around on me? Hold on. Because I wasn't even interested anyway, and now I'm definitely not interested if you're just going to turn this around on me. I don't approve. Duo, come on, we're going. I turn around and grab Duo.
Okay. Duo, he's kind of reluctant. He's like, well, I mean, you did say his eyes were pretty. I mean, I don't know. I don't really understand relationships.
Look, neither do I, but it's like the whole thing is all I said was that his eyes are super blue and shiny. I didn't say anything else about the rest of his face, which apparently is not that great. So
okay, well, I'll say that y'all walk far enough away from this individual that he wouldn't hear you.
Good.
Because he's still kind of sitting kind of stoically at the bar top. And sorry.
Bless you.
I gotta get some water.
Hydrate.
There.
Actually, oh man. Give me a minute or two.
Okay.
This is a hydrate break, everybody. Get some water. Take
I
some
don't want
get some water
water
yourself, everybody.
I have no water, so I'm just gonna sit here.
Yo, you gotta keep a bottle in there, bud.
Right?
Brandon. You can't drink enough water. It's truly impossible to overhydrate. Okay,
that's up for debate.
You could drown. You could drown.
You can drown yourself.
In terms of drinking water, as long as you make sure it's not going down the lung pipe, you're fine.
Well, I think it also it depends on how strong your bladder is, because if like you got to go to the bathroom every half thing of water, it can be a little difficult.
That's fair. You can't overdose on water. Let me put that out there.
Like you well, you know what? I don't
man.
know.
You can
Can you get
overdose
like
on
water
anything.
sickness?
Is that a
Yes.
thing? Was water sickness a thing?
I don't know.
I've never heard of water sickness.
I'm throwing stuff at the wall and see what sticks. I'll Google it later.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't realistically, under normal usage, overdose on water. I would say. Yes. That is the scientific answer. um, all right. So like Jahani and Duo walk far enough away. And like a Duo again, he pulls out his bag and he says, I mean, I know that's the guy. Like, I wasn't talking to him because I like care about him or whatever. Like, that was the guy that like the dwarf was talking about. And like, did you know that dwarf, like, it looks like an elf, like every once in a while? I don't know. It's just really weird.
Sometimes, yes.
And he pulls out a little piece of paper, out of his bag, and like he like says, like that guy, like he just left his back pocket open. It's just really weird. Like that guy, like you think he was like this like really small guy or something, but I was able to just get this quick. I can't read it though. So like, can like you like help me and like read this thing?
I'll take a look at the paper.
Okay. As you look at the paper, it says Torgs. It says TORG apostrophe S.
Mm-hmm.
And it says Bremen.
Mm-hmm.
And then it says 3 souls. And then and the 3 are like in like the Roman normal 3s. So like
okay.
it's like 3 marks.
So it says I souls.
Yes. I souls. Yep. And that's what it says. And Duo, like he looks at you like, who is Talk? What does it mean by talks?
Can I make like a history check or
Sure.
something?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Plus nothing to history. 13.
Okay. You wouldn't know this from your personal experience, but you may have heard from some folks either at Bryn Sander or like kind of like talking at the Grumpy Moose that Torgs is a traveling like caravan that sells a lot of merchandise that goes like from town to like a town.
Mm-hmm.
It's known as having some of the most valuable like merchandise that somebody can get in this area of the 10 towns. And because of that, it's heavily guarded. So it's like a traveling caravan that like also essentially has its own group of like soldiers for the most part. So like it goes from like town to town. It like deploys and they sell their stuff. And then they go to the next town. They kind of do that. Gazrick would have definitely heard of this because as a merchant, this is one of your main competitors in the space.
So I relate at least what I know after like hearing a lot about like the Torgs and like they're probably a target. It seems like he's trying to disrupt. I don't know what the 30 souls might be, but if he's targeting Torgs, he's trying to endanger the economy of the region.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Duo says, well, I mean, if Torgs is like this caravan, like maybe it's 3 souls. Like maybe like they're selling souls, or like they're selling people,
Hmm.
or like I don't know, like maybe I mean there's these murders going on, right? And they told us to like Hilm said like that it might be like, and like he kind of points toward the guy at the bartender, like it might be that guy. So like is that guy like is he selling souls? Is he taking souls? I don't know.
He said that he carried his own warmth and that we would understand soon enough.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
Are we the Nutri Souls? Because if that's the case, maybe we should get out of here and follow him before
But
he can
there's
follow us.
Yeah, I mean, but there's also 4 of us.
Oh,
5.
sorry, I was not counting Duo.
Duo, we love you.
I mean, thank you.
Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, should we take? Hey, Gazrick, you can turn into animals.
Oh yeah, of course. What do you?
So, well, I mean, when he leaves, maybe you can trail him as something that is not one of us.
Yeah, for sure. It's super easy.
Okay.
Mm.
Because I realized I just made myself my presence known as a giant black feathered bird, and following him would not be a thing that I should do.
It's true. There are not a lot of other birds in this.
I'm very obvious.
All right. So this individual, he finishes his food and a drink. He gets up and he walks toward the exit.
All right. I'll be in touch. And I
Okay.
also Rin, how do you like the caviar?
It's not sitting very well in my stomach right now. So we'll have to have a talk about that a little bit later.
I remember my first caviar. It does never sits well for anyone. The second time it's better. Anyway, bye bye. And he Gazrick hops off and heads outside. And then kind of waits a little bit. Yeah, at the door.
Yeah. Well, do you try to hop out like before this guy exits, or like after he exits?
I think a little bit after he exits, so
After.
I could wild shape and then follow, like into a bird of the region.
Okay. Yeah. So
Like a snow raven.
So as you go outside, you're able to see him. So like he's kind of like far off, but he's walking on his own into the town. So if you wanted to, you could like wild shape into something, and because you would see him, you would be able to follow.
Yeah, I'll wild shape into like a snow raven, and then just kind of keeping a view from above on him.
Okay.
Nice.
Can you describe the snow raven to me?
It's like it's exactly the same shape as a regular raven and like design and everything, but where it would be like have like black eyes and like a black body, it's purely white with blue eyes, the same color as Gosrick's. So that stays the same, but like it blends into the snow, and with certain clouds you can't really tell it apart.
Okay. Okay, great. All right. So do you just wild shape and then just go off?
Yeah, I think I keep an eye round the corner of the Grumpy Moose wild shape, and then like hop on top of it to like keep an eye and like kind of like fly from across
Oh yeah.
the rooftops to just like perch watch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to share this plan with everybody else, or let you just do it?
I think like I'm taking my direction based on what Tahani told me in terms of like following and like kind of keeping a trail. So I think they know, at least in some capacity. I don't think anything I'm doing is like, I think Gazrick assumes that they're already in the loop of it. Yeah.
All right. What does, so like now it's just like Tahani, Duo, and Rin. Have you guys exited the Grumpy Moose yet? Or are you still inside?
No, I think, well, I haven't. We didn't really actually like fully craft this plan, but I think for me, at least, the implication was that we would wait for Gazrick to come back.
Okay. All right. Okay. So what are you doing while you waiting? While you wait?
I'm probably getting another fish myself.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you can pretty much get you can get as much fish as you want.
Fishies.
I mean the bartender, because he sees you come in with Gosrick, is like, he's just hooking y'all up. Rin, what do you do while you're waiting?
I think it's the perfect time to start doing squats.
Okay.
To get the blood flowing.
Excellent.
I'm trying to get stuff going here. So
Okay.
might as
All
well
right.
get
So
those
you're
squats
just doing
going.
some squats.
Mm-hmm.
Doing some squats in the corner. Duo is going to be attempting to do squats with you. So he's gonna get side by side. He doesn't have far to squat, obviously, because he's pretty short, but it's still hard because it's all relative, right? So he's struggling a bit. He even kind of falls over a couple times as he's trying to do it, but he's trying his hardest to squat with you. All right. So, Gazrick, as you are flying over, I'll say that, like, you follow him for quite a bit. He's kind of walking. He doesn't really talk to anyone. But you do see him eventually. You see him meet with another dwarf. There's like a lot of dwarfs here. And this dwarf is very scarred and is heavily adorned with like weapons. And I will say they look like they're talking. You're a little too far away to hear what they're saying. If you wanted to try to get a little closer, you could. But it would, even though you are a raven, it would still kind of alert them a little bit if you try to get a little closer.
Yeah, for sure.
So do you want to try?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Yeah.
All right. So why don't you do a stealth if you're trying to
Okay.
get closer without disrupting them.
It's a 14.
14. Okay. Yeah, I'll say that you're able to get close. And you basically hear the dwarf say, "Well, I know that Bremen, I don't think they do human sacrifices, but we can still collect the souls here. That's fine. I know that the other towns, they everybody needs to keep the Frost Maiden happy. And I know that in Bremen, it's more of sacrificing warmth, right? But we still need those souls. So, did you come across anyone that you think would make good candidates?" And then Cephix says, "I did just I came across the weirdest group of people at the Grumpy Moose. And they seem like they're kind of, there's a lot of people from out of town here, but they seem like that they're from out of town, and they don't seem like anybody would miss them." And that's where we're going to end.
Perfect.
That's where we are going to end. He is a very rude guy. Yeah, so we ended with we found Sapphic, or he kind of found us.
Mhm.
And we found this note that mentioned Torgs and souls, and we found that he was talking to this other heavily armored and weaponized dwarf about said souls. So if you have any questions, make sure to type question in the chat with your question for our characters.
Mhm.
So it can be for Dahani, for Gazarick, for Rin, for Duo, for Suffolk, for Hiln Trollbane, for Sheriff Southwell, for the dogs, the dog sled.
Yes.
I mean, you can pretty much ask any character that we have come across. You can ask them a question, or the bartender, of course. You know that kept us good. Yeah, so
Give us your
we'll just wait for some
questions.
questions. Yeah, sorry, this has been a weird stream. Like I messed up the windows, I had an internet hiccup, and I had like a water. I just ran like my body ran out of water, like I had to reboot. I had to reboot the water. But we
Ooh,
were still able to come through.
questions in for Rin.
Mhm.
Question 1: do you like fish?
Oh, I do not like fish. It's incredibly distasteful.
Another question for
Yeah,
Rin.
another question for Rin.
What would
What
you?
would you
Mhm.
consider the I'm sorry, what would you consider the ideal way to prepare eggs? Something that would be enjoyable in all situations.
Well, first they have to be scrambled immediately. And then yeah, just the main ingredient is adding that pepper. It has to be 5 minutes worth of a shake.
Jesus. But
And
it's so
then
much pepper.
if you have enough time, you could put a little bit of a like a piece of grass on top for like
Oh,
fancy.
An accent.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
It's like a
yeah,
little
it's like a garnish on the top.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that does keep it classy. That does
Mm-hmm.
keep it classy. I like that. Question for Gosrick: what's the deal with the lake monster in Icewind Dale? Are they a thing? I will say you have not heard of this, Gosrick, like before.
Sure.
It was mentioned. In the
So
story.
I will say that the ice and the ice lake are their own demons. With the snow and the wind, there are different creatures that exist along the plain. And that is where my time has been spent. That is where my scars have been earned. On the water, on the ice, where the ships roam, is truly desolate. For the you won't drown, but the reflection of the sun becomes so bright and blinding that if you get lost out there, you will never be found.
Terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was very scary.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
had the Flowey fight from Undertale just playing in my mind. I was like, what's the most terrifying thing I can imagine?
Yeah, pretty terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty terrifying. No spoilers for Undertale though. You know.
No, sorry.
No.
I must
No,
not
that
really
game came
spoil.
out a while ago. I feel like
what are you talking about? You fight Flowey at the very beginning of the game. That's the only time you ever fight him, only ever.
That is
Absolutely.
true.
We can talk about it now. Well, don't spoil anything else for me because that's as far as I've gotten, and we can talk about that later. That's the thing. I'll only spoil things that I know.
Okay, only things that are not spoilers for you.
Exactly.
You know them. All right. Yeah. So if there's no other questions, let's jump to outros. I guess I'll do Tanya's outro since hers is normally first. You can find Tanya DePass at Cipher of Tears, CYPHEROFTYR. That's her name on all social networks. And she also runs I Need Diverse Games. So like you can also find her at I Need Diverse Games or INDG. And make sure to check her out this weekend at the Bethesda at the like Twitch .tv/Bethesda as they're going through a bunch of awesome stuff on Roll20 there. Brandon.
Yeah. Hi everybody. Brandon Stennis here. I play Ren Leodon today. You can find me at Twitter at I am Brandon TV, or you can find me on Twitch at I am Brandon. Stuff that's going on. I feel like there's a lot. There's always a lot. But yeah, just yesterday, the video that I did with Rooster Teeth is out on the internet. So if you want to check it out, it's pretty good. But yeah, because you can find it on their channel now. Other than that, I think I have 2 paintings I need to hang out there in my living room. So that's what I have.
Okay. I mean, what kind of paintings are we talking about here?
There's the one is with Jay-Z, Beyonce, and the other one is of the artist Her, like playing her guitar.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So once I get it out, I'm gonna take a picture. So it's they're really great paintings. So I've waited a month to get them.
Awesome. Yeah, we have like a bunch of artwork that we've bought over the years that we've just not put up. And we like need to put it up because we just got to. All right, LaTia.
Me. Hi, everybody. I'm LaTia Jacquise at LaTia Jacquise everywhere that I can have a username. I don't have too much going on this week, I think, but next Sunday, in the evening, I am beginning a new streamed campaign of Dark Matter, a D&D 5e supplement. It's D&D in space, and I do believe that this is the game that we're playing is like very film noir and stuff like that. So you know, all black and white frames and people in detective hats smoking cigarettes and long monologues and stuff like that. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't remember what time it airs, but I will be retweeting information about it. So check me out on Twitter. And I hope to be streaming on my own channel again this week. It's been in August already. So I hope to get back into Final Fantasy soon. But other than that, you can keep up with what I'm doing on my Twitter because that is where I spend the most time. So come hang out with me.
Cool. Masood.
Hey guys, my name is Masood. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Marudboy, MAHRUDBOI. When I'm not here playing with the wonderful folks of Rivals of Waterdeep, you can catch me on Tuesday nights with the Roll20 sponsored Mythic Odysseys of Theros campaign. Man, things are getting spicy there. It is a good time. And you can also see me on Thursday nights playing Once Upon a Game, a series on the Indoor Recess Crew Twitch channel where we dive into narrative-driven games. And currently doing my first blind playthrough of Undertale. I'm having a blast. I got the neutral ending, and now I have to, and I really want the pacifist one. So like, I'm learning a lot. It's very cool. Come check it out if you want to see me react to things live.
Cool. And I'm Shareef Jackson. You can find me at ShareefJackson.com. SHAREEF Jackson.com. Also Shareef Jackson on all social networks. I don't think I have anything coming up as of late. But I will say, check out our wonderful Gen Con show if you have not already. That was done by our buddy LaTia.
Hey, me.
Who made us go through a house that was just like any regular house, you know. It was just
totally
a perfectly
normal house.
I'll be getting that up on the podcast feed as well. All right. So with that, we will see everybody next week. Tanya should be back, so like we will have
Tanya's in chat now, actually.
Oh, she is in chat. Ooh. Yeah. You're just sleeping, Tanya. You know, don't worry about it.
So Lisa's
Lisa sleeping.
Yes, just sleeping.
Sleep.
Just sleeping.
Oversleeping. So we will see y'all next week. Peace out, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.